Hello. I changed spots, obviously, and I don't know if this spot is better or worse, but you know what? It's the spot we have. My name is Tina. I read books, and my channel is called Books and Coffee with Tea. Full transparency, I have not been drinking any coffee. I have almost entirely switched to matcha and tea because my stomach just can't do it anymore. My palate has changed. I don't know what happened, but I just cannot do coffee anymore. It's really, really sad and also kind of tragic in a lot of ways because I have a ton of coffee and I just can't drink it. I mean, maybe every now and then I can probably have some. Sometimes I crave like fills, so I'm wondering if I need to just buy Phil's grounds and then just drink Phil's coffee. Like, I honestly don't know. So anyway, this video is, I've been trying to do booktube and book talk and all those things for a very long time, and I just constantly chicken out. So you know what? I was like, let's just make a plan. Let's do a video with a theme today. Let's have like something in mind today. So today's video is the books that I read in January, not April. We just started April. January, February, and March of this year, which is 2025. So I have noticed that there is a theme in the books that I've been reading lately, and we're gonna try and nip that in the bud because, first of all, I've been reading a lot of romance and like contemporary cowboy romances. Let's be real. And I've just gotten to a phase where like I just can't do that anymore. I don't know if it like messes with my mental health or it just like makes me have like really false expectations of reality. And also I just think that the content in some of those books, most of them if we're being real, is just not, it's not my cup of tea. And the more vulgar and the more open door these romances get, which they're pretty open door, I just can't do it. And I just think it's better for me to just not. So I'm gonna try and shift my reading in the future, but it makes sense why I just read so many of these books because first of all, they're predictable. Second of all, they are quick reads. And three, because they're just like lighthearted stories about, you know, romance. The spice that is in these books is definitely not appropriate for quite a few age groups, I would say. I also would even argue that it is just not appropriate to have these types of things in books anyway because it's gross. Well, spice is not my thing, and I've come to the decision that I'm just gonna like draw a line in the sand when it comes to romance in books. If the plot is not, if it's not a romance book and there's like a subplot of romance and it's not like every other page of the book is like romance or like spice, then that's fine. But if the book is a romance book, that's gonna be a -1 for me, unless it's a closed door romance like Vari McFarlane. Her books are amazing. They're so good. I'm really just drawing a line in the sand with spice, and not everyone's gonna do that. Some people are gonna think I'm crazy. Some people are gonna think I'm, you know, well, whatever, but I don't care because I need to do it for my mental health. And I really don't like reading that every other page, to be honest with you. I end up just skipping like half the book, and it makes me not really like the books. For these books, then I want to look at what my review was, because some of these books I read a while ago and I don't remember what the book is about. I don't remember what I mean, I wrote down what I rated these books, but I don't remember. I don't remember. So okay, let's just get into it because I've procrastinated enough. So I guess I don't even need the document I created because I just went onto my Goodreads. So anyway, the The first book that I read is part of a series. So I've read the first 3 books in this series. So I read Throttled, which is number 1. It's the Dirty Air series. It's about these like F1 drivers, and it's like the romance with these F1 drivers. The second was Collided, and then the third one was Wrecked. So I stopped reading after the third one because I rated the third one low. I'm gonna look up the books because I genuinely don't even remember what these books are about. So the first book is called, like I said, the first book in the Dirty Air series is called Throttled. This series is by Lauren Asher. I'll put maybe an image or something there to give you a visual. But it's about Noah and Maya. Okay, my memory is refreshing. Maya is the sister of Noah's like rival, but now they're on the same team. Like Noah and Maya's brother, what's his name? Oh, I don't remember his name. Are on the same team. I want to say it starts with an E, but I cannot remember. Anyway, so Noah and the brother are on the same F1 team. And if you don't know, F1 teams have 2 people on the team and they're teammates, but they're also fighting individually for their spot in their ranking, okay? So it's normal in F1 for people on the same team to not actually be like super team oriented. Okay, they're team oriented until they need to be self-serving, I guess is the way to put it. But anyway, so Noah is on the team, Maya is the sister, and their relationship develops. I think it's a grumpy sunshine, or it's like enemies to lovers kind of. Those are the tropes. It was not. Now that I reflect on it, I definitely would not rate it what I initially rated it. I think after I read books like this, the high from reading these books is high. And I'm like, wow, that was so fun. But then reflecting, I'm like, wow, no, didn't love it. So if I were to rate it now, it would be different. But at the time, I did rate it a 4-star, okay? And then the second book is called Collided, also part of the same series. The second book is about Sophie and Liam. I am trying to remember. I think Sophie is Sophie is the manager of Noah and Maya's brother's team. And then Liam is a F1 driver on a different team. And Sophie and Liam had like an interaction in like a prologue or something. And she was dressed as like a princess or something, I think. What happens is she has like a naughty to-do list, and so he like agrees to help her check things off of this list. And he's like, I'm just trying to help you with this list. And she's like, okay. And then they end up falling for each other. Spoilers. I think each guy kind of is supposed to represent like someone who's actually been in F1. And I think, in my opinion, I think the guy in the third book is supposed to be like reminiscent of Lewis Hamilton. Just my opinion. But anyway, so book 2, I rated 4 stars. Again, upon reflection, it would not be 4. I don't even think it would be 3, to be perfectly honest with you, because like I clearly have not really remembered what's going on in these books. I remember bits and pieces, but I also read them so fast that it kind of makes sense that I really don't remember anything. So then the third book is called Wrecked, and this one is Jax and Elena. And this one was the worst one, in my opinion. I think I thought about DNFing it multiple times. And this is not a knock to the author whatsoever. This is just a personal taste thing. I felt like the romance was like super forced, and I didn't really think that there was like any chemistry between the characters whatsoever. I think it was super forced, like I said. And I mean, it kind of took on the role of like enemies to lovers in a way, but it also kind of took on like, I feel like the author was trying to make it seem like this is like the natural progression of like a relationship, I guess, with someone that you like work with. But I also feel like, I don't know. again, Jax is an F1 driver. Elena was like sort of like a PR person that worked with the club that he drove for, and that Jax drove for, and he was going through like a lot of personal stuff, and so was she. And I feel like that all of that stuff was good storytelling, like all the stuff they had personally going on, and that's why I felt like their relationship felt very forced. Like, I feel like if anything, their relationship should have just been like, wow, we are really good friends. Like, I really did not see the chemistry between them at all. It felt super lusty. It was like not, I don't know. I just didn't think it was very good and very genuine. So I actually rated that one 2 stars. So yeah. Anyway, moving on from Dirty Air. I'm not going to continue the series. I'm really cool with ending the way that I did. The next book that I read, I actually read this one in a physical copy. I think I finished it with audiobook on Spotify though, because I drive a lot for work. Like, I have to drive into the office or drive to court, and then I have to drive back home, and I don't live that close, so I have a long drive. So I've been doing a lot of Libby and Spotify, because you can do like a certain amount of hours. I just was showing you the book. Red Queen is the book that I read. This one I rated 4 stars, and this one deserves the 4 stars in my opinion. Okay, this one in retrospect I would still rate it 4 stars. Okay, let me just read you. I think the premise of this one was so interesting. The back says, Mare Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. Mare and her family are lowly reds, destined to serve the silver elite whose supernatural abilities make them nearly gods. When Mare accidentally discovers a power of her own she didn't know she had, the Silver King is forced to hide the impossibility of her power and pretend she's a long-lost silver princess betrothed to one of his sons. Soon, Mare is drawn into the silver world where loyalty and desire can tear you apart, and the only certainty is betrayal. And before long, her actions put into motion a deadly and violent dance, pitting prince against prince and Mare against her own heart. And I did not know when I started reading that this was part of a series until I finished it. So, another series that I'm in the middle of, I guess now, but it was very, very good. I definitely want to pick up the second book, and I would like to continue the series if the rest of the books are as good as this one. I'm invested. I really liked this story. It did give me vibes from like some other types of books, but I really liked it. So yeah, I would recommend this one. The next books that I read, again, I'm angry with myself for reading these, for some of them. Some of them, not so much, but some of them, actually, most of them, I'm kind of upset with myself. So these are super popular. I have the physical copies, even though I think I only read 1 or 2 of them in the physical copy. The other ones I read on my Kindle, because they're on Kindle Unlimited. Again, crazy, but I do really like the paperback covers of these. So even though I rated the books pretty decent, I'm just gonna tell you. So the first one is Wild Love by Elsie Silver. I rated this one 4 stars. This one is about Ford Grant and Rosie Belmont. I rated this one 4 stars. 4 stars? I rated this one 4 stars, and you know what? I genuinely don't remember why I did that. So let me see if I wrote a review. Oh, okay. So this is what I said in my Goodreads. I said this would have been 5 stars if it had not been so spicy. I do love Elsie Silver and her universe, but I wish they made clean versions of the books, like they do with albums. That said, this book made me laugh a lot. Like, I cried from laughing at least 4 times, and Ford might be my fave leading man thus far, aside from Rhett and Flawless. So I did really like the leading character in this book. I also loved the interactions between the character and one of the children in this book. I just thought those were so funny. It made me laugh so hard. So yeah, I stand by the 4, but again, I agree with my past self in my review that I wish that they made clean versions of these books like they do with albums, because then I would definitely want to read like the cleaned, the non-explicit versions of these books. That would be great. The next book that I read was the second book in this series. It's called Wild Eyes. This one is with West and Skylar Stone. I really liked the female character in this one. I kind of liked Rosie in the first one, but I really liked our female main character in this one, Skylar Stone. She's like a pop star, a country singer kind of, and she's like trying to figure out like what her voice is, and I just really enjoyed like her story. I found it really believable, and the character West, I mean, he was like funny, protective. I really liked his character. Seemed like really legitimate. Like, I feel like sometimes in these stories, like the characters are kind of like over exaggerated a little bit, but I felt like this felt pretty true to like reality almost. And the kids in this were so funny. I did really enjoy this one, and I think I would say the same thing for the first one. I really do wish that there were like clean versions of these, because I think that the stories would still be really good without the spice. Like I just wish they didn't have it. So, but still, definitely not for children. Definitely not for children. But I think if you can get a version that is clean, this could be good for anybody. Okay. The last book of that series is called Wild Side. This one is about the wrestler dude, and then the neighbor or the friend Tabitha or whatever, Riz Dupree. And every time I saw, excuse me, I need to go to bed. Every time I saw the name Reese, whatever, I immediately just thought of Akamath. So that made me kind of like expect him to act like that, and kind of depressing that he didn't. But anyway, not my favorite. Felt really quick, felt super forced. Upon retrospect, I think my rating I kind of agree with. I think I would have gone a little lower, but if I could do half stars, I would have done a half. I rated it 3, but if I could re-rate, I would do 2.5. I just didn't like love. I didn't love, and that's okay. Again, spice, so just be warned. I think the spice in this one is like really slow burn though, so it's like way at the end, if I remember right. I don't know. You ever just smell a book? I just love paper. And then I read 3 more books. So I read on audiobook. I think I did the audiobook. I randomly found this book on Libby, and I was like, oh, that sounds like an interesting plot. So I read Filthy Rich Fae by Geneva Lee. It is spice, but I think that the story by itself without the spice, it's so good. It's such a good story. It's like you start in like urban, like real world, and then you transition into the fantasy world, and I love books like that. So Kate is trying to help her brother by going to this, like, they're known kind of like as like a mob family. So she goes to this like mob family to try to talk to like the mob boss, because she's like, I need to save my brother. Like, whatever I'm gonna do to save my brother, I want to do that. And she meets this guy like as she's on the way, like she's right outside where the mob place is, and she meets this guy, and she just thinks he's like a security guard. So he like brings her in, and he introduces himself, and he's like asking her questions about like, okay, so, you know, why are you here, blah blah blah. And she tells him, and then come to find out he is the mob boss. And turns out he's not a mob boss. Turns out he's a fae. And so like very quickly you're like dropped into this world of like, wait, it's not just like regular world, this is like a fantasy world. And I just really enjoyed the story. I felt the story was really good, and it ends on like a really good cliffhanger. And the book 2 does not come out until like May of this year, I think. So I'm gonna be waiting for the second book, but I do want to continue this series. I really liked book 1, and I think that the way that we're set up for book 2 is gonna lead to like a really good story for book 2. It does give me Akhtar-y vibes, but only in like tiny little ways. It's not like copy paste of anything. It's just vibes are Akhtar. I rated Filthy Rich Fae 5, but I should have, if I could do half stars, it would probably be 4.5. My immediate response was 5-star. I think I'll just leave it at that, and then maybe later in life I can do like let's read all book that I rated 5 stars, because I'm kind of stingy with my 5s. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. I do still think about it, so maybe 5 is deserving. So the next book that I read, so because I read Filthy Rich Fae, I was like, ooh, let's try some other books by this author. So I read Filthy Rich Vampire. No, it was not. It was not as good. I rated Filthy Rich Vampire 3 stars. I did continue that series because those books were available. So I read some of them on Kindle Unlimited. I read some of them via Spotify / Libby, because the books 2 and 3 were available immediately on Libby. So I started that series, and I got through book 1, which I rated 3 stars. I got through book 2, which I also rated 3 stars. And then I did book 3, and almost immediately I was like, I'm just gonna DNF, because like the story in book 1 was like, and then book 2 was like, okay. And then 3, I just was like, you guys, come on. I'm not continuing that series. I DNF book 3. And so I guess technically I've read, do you count DNFs as books read? I don't. I know some people do. I tried to read it, so I don't count that. So I read 10 books between January, February, March. I read 10 books. My goal for this year is either 25 or 50. I really don't remember. But I am currently in the middle of a couple different books that are not these vibes at all. Yeah, I'm just trying to be more mindful about what I'm reading, and I want to like really fully escape real life when I read, and I feel like some of these books don't necessarily do that. And I also think that if they're not helping my mental health, they're probably hurting it. So I don't really want to read books that are gonna put me in a weird mental state, and some of these books, almost all of them, do that. So I think it's the spice. Honestly, I just really don't like reading spice, and when it's just like on almost every single page, and the books that are just constantly like shoved at me from Book Talk and all those places are just constant spice. Like I'm like, is there anything out there that like doesn't have spice? So I'm kind of resorting to, why did I say it like that? I'm kind of resorting to, is that even the word? I think it is. I'm in a place where the books that I think I should just read are like young adult, like teen books that are like fantasy, stuff like that. But anyway, that's all I have for now. I definitely am gonna go to bed because I've yawned. I just said it. I've yawned 1,000 times. I'm gonna brush my teeth. I'm gonna lay in bed. I might pull out a book. I might not. You know what? Let's just be crazy. I definitely am gonna try and wake up at 5 a.m. to work out tomorrow. And so anyway, it's been a lovely evening with you. Thank you for watching this. If you did make it all the way to the end, then you'll see that my TV it turned off after a certain amount of time. So I've been here for too long for sure. But thanks for joining, and I hope you watch the next one. Bye bye.